journey. It's kind of a long story, but I'll give you the Reader's Digest version of it. So, grew up in South Texas, small town. I have a very artsy, as my mom would say, an artsy-fartsy mother. So, grew up taking lots of art classes, and then when it was time to go to college, Mom and I were chatting, and she was saying, well, you need to go look at the art building. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be a starving artist. So I went the English major route instead. And my senior year of college, I took an art elective and realized that my mother was right. And I realized I didn't want to be a lawyer or a teacher. And so I started researching art backgrounds and degrees and professional jobs and discovered graphic design. And so once I learned about graphic design, I went back to school after I got my first degree and got a second degree in graphic design. And that kind of launched my professional journey as a graphic designer. And then I spent the next 10 to 12 years working for various companies doing branding, visual identity, print work, you name it. I did it, and I had a great time and ended up in Dallas for 10 years working for an architecture firm for quite a while. And then I moved over to Neiman Marcus I was one of their senior graphic designers in their creative services department. And it was at that time I had started sewing as a pastime because I wanted to do something creative that wasn't sitting in front of a computer when I got home. Lots of my friends had been having babies, and so one thing led to another, and I started making these baby quilts for friends and family. And I think at that point I was working at Neiman Marcus, which I loved the job, but I was 100% burnt out creatively. And so I kind of just had this moment of, you know what, I'm taking a break. I had nothing planned, and I spent a whole month sewing, and the modern quilting movement had really been picking up traction, and I was paying attention to the people who were in the industry, and kind of just had this decision of being like, you know what, I'm on my own. I think I'm just gonna try and see what happens if I dip my toe into the modern quilting world. And so that was in August of 2014.